చేస్తున్నా. Hi, this is Vijita. Today we learned about the types of supervised learning with examples and implementation of the algorithms. So first we discussed about in the last session we are discussing the introduction to supervised learning. That means label data set can be trained to the production, that can be categorized the label data. Supervised learning is a type of the machine learning. The goal is to learn a mapping from the inputs to outputs based on the label data set. Here it is a label data, that is apple, carrot and capsicum. That can be label data is classified as the labels. The labels trained to the model, machine learning model. That machine learning model algorithm can be predicted the output. That is the targeted variable. So that is carrot and capsicum and tomato. So coming to types of supervised learning, that the types of supervised learning as the classification and regression. Classification means we know that classification means categorical values, that is yes or no, spam or not, male or female. That is the classified the output targeted variable. And regression means continuously change the values. Before that sessions we are learning about the regression concepts also. Briefly we have explained the regression concepts. Coming to classification overview, that means involves in the predicting categorical labels of the given inputs. Categorical labels in the email spam or not means email, the email having the inbox and spam categorization that can be classified. The model, machine learning model, can be predicted the output as the inbox and spam folders. The output of the classification model is usually discrete, representing the distinct classes. That is and one more example of the classification is image recognition and sentiment analysis also. And coming to classification algorithms, the classification algorithms are to learn function that maps from the input features to probability distribution over the output classes. Some common classification algorithms are logistic regression, support vector machines, test entries, random forests, and Navi-based algorithms. We will discuss further sessions detailed in the regression algorithms, how to implement it in the algorithms, in the common classification algorithms. Next one is regression overview. That means regression means continuously change the values. We know that continuously change the values means that is a weather forecasting, weather temperature, house price sales, and human height and weight. That is, these are the not permanent data set. That is a continuously change the values. That is the regression concept. The relationship between the dependent variables and independent variables with one or more independent variables also can be predicted the concept of the regression learning. Dependent means targeted variables. The targeted variable is, that is based on the targeted variable can be depend on the other attributes. The independent variables are fixed the values, that is the predictor values. It predicts continuously real values. The examples of the temperature is salary, price. In the regression concept, line of regression is in X represents the independent variables, Y represents the dependent variables. The data points can be covered with the line of regression that indicates the slope of the line. This is the regression, linear regression. In the further second example as the marketing company A has various advertisements of the every year and get sales on that. The advertisement made by company in the last 5 years means 2014 to 2019 and the corresponding sales. Now, what is our output is the advertisement of $200, how much sales company got. We will predict the value using the regression concepts. Now the company wants to the advertisement of the $200 in the 2019 and we want to know the prediction about the sales for this year. And it is a supervised learning technique, already we know that, which helps in the finding correlation between the variables and enables users to predict the continuous output variables based on the one or more predictor variables. It is mainly used in the prediction, forecasting, weather forecasting, time series modeling, and determining the causal effect relationship between the variables. The examples of this regression is the house price sales regression. That is the model training is a historical data with house prices. That means previous data can be used in that predict the output values of the house prediction. Historical data is the previous data. Here the labeled attributes of the predicted value is next 5 years data we can be expected using the regression algorithms. The most algorithms we are using the regression algorithms are the linear regression, ridge regression, and random forest regressions. The further sessions we will briefly explain the classification algorithms and linear regression algorithms also. Next, implementation of the regression algorithms. Linear regression can be implemented using the linear regressions from the scikit-learn library. We are importing the regression library using the scikit-learn library. And ridge regression can be employed using the ridge class, which adds the regularization to the model. Random forest regression can be implemented using the random forest regularization using the scikit-learn library. Comparing between the classification and regression concepts. Both classification and regression fall under the supervised learning but serve different purposes. The classification deals with the categorical outputs, while regression focus on the continuous outputs. Choosing the right approach depends on the nature of the problem and the type of data available. The system attempts to predict a value for the input based on the fast data. It is a regression concept. For example, temperature for the tomorrow or next week data. Classification means predictions may be classified them into different categories. Example, type of cancer is yes or no. We are classified. We learn in the session, we learned about the supervised learning and types of supervised learning. What are the types of supervised learning and the types of supervised learning are classification and regression. The classification means categorical values can be categorized using the classification algorithms in the supervised learning, and regression means continuously change the values. That is not in the permanent data. It is temporary the regression day by day that can be changed the values. For examples, weather forecasting, house price, or human height and weight, and salary, customer's salary. These are the common. The algorithms we are using the classification algorithms and regression algorithms, ridge regression. Common algorithms are the linear regression, ridge regression, and random forest algorithms. Classification algorithms are the logistic regression. The classification algorithms are the logistic regression, support vector missions, decision trees, and random forest. Further, we discussed briefly about the classification algorithms and how the data will be gained and how to implement the data set. It can be used in the classification and regression algorithms. Thank you.